Hey guys, it's Emily. Welcome back to my channel. Who's up for round two? So this is our second part in this cookie kind of series where I have that 100 cookies recipe book from Sarah Kieffer. And so I did part one already. And in this part, I'm going to show how to make the absolutely most delicious fudgy brownies. Honestly, they're my new favorite recipe. I will never be making brownies from a box again. This recipe is very easy to follow and it just leads to the most yummy, gooey, chocolatey brownies ever. So we're gonna be making those. We're gonna be making some peanut butter cookies because who doesn't love a good peanut butter cookie? And there's a little bit of a twist where there is some candied peanuts inside of the batter, so that's kind of a fun addition. And then we're gonna be making ginger cookies as our third recipe, and they are absolutely spicy and festive and delicious as well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Up first, we have our delicious fudgy brownies. So I'm getting all of my ingredients in place, getting set up to start mixing together these brownies. You do not need a stand mixer, which is nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my eggs here. You're gonna need 4 large eggs into a mixing bowl. And then once your eggs are in, you're gonna wanna do your pure vanilla. So you're gonna do 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and then you're gonna do 1.5 cups of granulated sugar and 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar, and then 1/2 cup of your Crisco canola oil as well. And then once all those ingredients are in your bowl, you're gonna go ahead and give those a nice whisk until they're all combined and incorporated and ready for the next step. Next, we're going to get our chocolate mixture ready for our batter. So you're going to want to put 1 stick of unsalted butter on your stove at medium heat and start melting that. And then you're also going to want to get your bittersweet chocolate chips, and you're going to use about 8 ounces and put that in with the unsalted butter, and you're going to just slowly melt that together until it becomes nice and luxurious and smooth and all one mixture. Once the butter and bittersweet chocolate is thoroughly combined, I'm grabbing that Dutch processed cocoa powder, putting in 1/4 cup into the mixture and mixing that together until it is completely incorporated and very smooth and ready for our next step. So once your mixture from the stove is complete, you're going to go ahead and just scrape that into your bowl with all of your other ingredients from before and just whisk that together until it's combined. It doesn't take too long. And then once that is combined, you're going to go ahead and add in your flour, which is 1 cup of flour plus 2 tablespoons. Don't forget that. And then you're going to need 3/4 teaspoon of salt, and then also a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. So you're going to put in those ingredients, and then you're going to slowly fold in the flour, the salt, and the baking powder until it is incorporated. Then to bake your brownies, I have a 9x13 pan with some parchment paper inside of it and then a little bit of cooking spray. And you're just going to pour the batter into the pan and, spread it evenly so it's ready for the oven. The brownies in the oven, and they will cook from between 22 and 27 minutes at 350 degrees. And here they are completed. These brownies are absolutely delicious, and a fun trick for you here is once they've cooled down enough where you can touch the pan but they're still warm, wrap them in saran wrap and foil and put them into your refrigerator. Let them cool completely in your refrigerator, and that causes the moisture to stay inside the pan, inside the brownie, and so that they become even fudgier and denser than if you were to let them air dry until they're completely cooled. And here's a finished product of a piece that I took out to enjoy. I did not wait for them to cool completely. I wanted to have one while it was still warm and with a little bit of ice cream. Next are peanut butter cookies. So the first thing you want to do in advance of this recipe is you do want to candy some peanuts. So you take about 1 cup of dry roasted peanuts and you put them on the stove on medium heat with about 1/3 to 1/4 of a cup of sugar and a pinch of salt, and you melt it very low and slow until the sugar starts to melt and combine with the peanuts and turn into one mixture. And once that the sugar is completely dissolved and the peanuts have started to kind of turn a golden roasted color, then you take it off of the stove and you put it down on parchment paper and let it cool completely, and then you chop it up into pieces in anticipation of being added to your batter. Next, we're going to start on our dough. So 2 sticks of unsalted butter at room temperature. Put that in your mixer and go ahead and mix that for about a minute on medium speed until it's nice and light and fluffy. Then we're going to add in our 2 sugars. We're going to add in 1 cup of brown sugar and a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. Go ahead and mix those in with your mixer, and then also we're going to scrape down our sides. That's a very important next step. We're gonna add in our peanut butter, and I use Jif. I have to tell you guys, Jif Peanut Butter Creamy is the only peanut butter I will use in peanut butter cookies. I'm sure you can use other brands, but you put in 1 cup of peanut butter and then go ahead and mix that together. And then once that has been incorporated, you're gonna add in 1 egg, and then also you're going to add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Now that that's incorporated, we're going to add in our dry ingredients. So we're going to do 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and then you're going to do 2 cups and 3 tablespoons of flour. Kind of a weird measurement, but that's what you need of your flour. And then you're going to go ahead and mix that together until combined. Once the dough is completely combined, I'm just going to get it ready to be put onto baking sheets. So I'm gonna get everything off of the paddle, and then we're gonna add in our yummy candied peanuts we made earlier. So I'm just going to add those in and then fold them with a spatula instead of crushing them with the paddle in the mixer. My handy dandy baking sheets lined with parchment paper so the cookies don't stick. I'm going to use my 2 tablespoon ice cream scoop to scoop out my peanut butter cookies and put them on the sheet. And one other step that's going to be shown a little bit later is you do take a fork and press it crosswise on top to give that classic peanut butter look. You're going to bake these at 350 degrees for 9 to 10 minutes. And here are the completed cookies. They were absolutely delicious, very light and airy, not super dense, and a great option for a peanut butter cookie. Next, we're gonna make our ginger cookie. So the first thing you wanna do is put 1.5 sticks of unsalted butter at room temperature in your mixer and beat on medium speed until it's nice and fluffy. Then you're going to add in your sugars, 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar and 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. Once the sugar has combined with the butter, you're going to get out your molasses. I have the mild flavor, which is also another term for light molasses, and you're going to do 1/3 of a cup of molasses into your butter and mix that in. You're going to scrape down your sides. That's extremely important to scrape those down, make sure everything gets incorporated. Next, we're going to add in 1 egg and 1 egg yolk into our mixture and mix that in. And then we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in 1 cup of flour. The recipe calls for 2.5 cups total, but I'm going to add in 1 initially just so that can start to get incorporated and we're not adding it all at once. Once the initial cup of flour is incorporated, I'm going to go ahead and add in 1 teaspoon of baking soda and then my cinnamon, which is 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon, then ground ginger, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. Then we're going to go in with ground nutmeg. That's going to be 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. And then we're going to go in with cloves. And that says to do just a pinch of cloves. That's a very strong spice. And then I'm going to go in with 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And then once those are added in, I'm going to come in with the rest of my flour, which is the remaining 1.5 cups of flour, so that it equals 2.5 cups total of flour. While that's mixing, there's one last ingredient we need to add. You cannot have a ginger cookie without crystallized ginger. So going to go ahead and chop up the crystallized ginger and then put that into the batter as the final ingredient. Now that the batter is done, I do have my handy dandy baking sheets with parchment paper and a plate with granulated sugar on it. You're going to want to drop a spoonful of your batter onto that sugar and roll it around in it so it's completely covered. And you're going to do that with every single cookie that you place on your cookie sheets. And once all of your cookies have been rolled and placed on your cookie sheets, you're going to bake them at 350 degrees for 10 to 11 minutes. Here are the completed ginger cookies. They were chewy and spicy and perfect for this holiday season. I hope you enjoyed your time with me here today and learned a couple new recipes. Please feel free to comment if you try some of these out and which one you think is your favorite and which one you may have made some changes to. Would love to hear those comments from you guys. And as always, this channel is made possible by viewers like you, so thank you.